Welcome along to Tenacious Be. I am your host, Ashley Bentley, and this is the very first episode of our new series, Tune Out, Turn On, and Drop In, exploring the therapeutic value of psychedelics. And I'm really excited to get this conversation started. It's a conversation that is very near and dear to my heart. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my personal experiences and some of the studies that are going on currently, and what you can expect from this new series on Tenacious Be. Before we get any farther, I'd like to thank the sponsor of the podcast, Integrative Coaching, Breathwork, and Hypnotherapy, which is my business. So if you want to work with me, I do most of my work online via video calls. So wherever you are in the world, we can work together, whether that's one-to-one or corporate wellness or even speaking engagements. Feel free to email me on integrativeiom@gmail.com, and more details on how you can get in touch are at the bottom of the screen. So tune out, turn on, and drop in. What is this? So we're tuning out the noise of the world. We're turning on and dropping into our inner world. This is basically what psychedelics do. And it's really exciting, the current research that is happening around the world into the various different psychedelic therapies that are out there. Just a few of them. I'm just going to read some of these off. Some of the conditions that psychedelics can help with: depression and anxiety. And we're talking treatment-resistant depression as well. Some of the statistics are really, really encouraging. End-of-life anxiety, helping people with terminal illnesses cope with the anxiety associated with facing the end of their life. It's really beautiful and special and important work that should be offered to those who need it. It's also highly effective for addiction recovery and substance use disorders. There have even been some beautiful work in terms of couples therapy and issues with the autism spectrum, such as social anxiety. It's really, really beautiful work. And part of what psychedelic therapy does is it increases our neuroplasticity. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that and what that actually means a little bit later. But I think it's really important that we have this discussion right now so that people are armed with as much information as possible, so that people can feel like they are making the right decision for them. It's really important that we discuss this openly and regularly so that people can do their due diligence and really decide if this is something that is right for them. Obviously, taking into account, you need to also go somewhere where it is legal and available to use in a therapeutic setting. And that is also a challenge. There are certain countries where you are able to do this safely and legally, but for most of the world, that is not the case. But the tide is changing. So it is really interesting to see where this is headed. So I'm going to be telling you a little bit about my personal experiences. I wanted to talk about two upcoming episodes. The first one after this episode will be with Dr. Reverend Laura Petrius, a really, really fascinating guest. She is an expert on non-duality and internal family systems, and she's just written a really beautiful book called Awaken to Love, where she explores non-duality and internal family systems and also discusses her fondness for psychedelics in her own therapeutic way. And she specializes in integrating spiritual and therapeutic approaches to healing. And she's had her own very transformative experiences with psychedelics, which she discusses in her book. And we talk about that on the episode. And she does an amazing guided meditation for us at the end, where we get down to business and cultivate the witness. Then in early November, I'm very pleased to let you all know that we have Maria from Begin Again, a platform dedicated to fostering new beginnings and deep personal growth through integrative practices and mindful exploration. Now, she started off her journey in psychology with a view to hopefully becoming a psychedelic therapist, but along the way, she has moved a bit away from psychedelic therapies and more into dream work and transpersonal psychology. So we have a really interesting discussion as to why that is. And I think it's really important that we do discuss some of the pitfalls and the issues surrounding psychedelic therapies, including having the right support both before and after your experiences, but also doing your due diligence as to where you go and have these experiences. So we have a really, really good discussion on the sort of the shadow side of psychedelic therapies. It's important that we discuss all avenues here so that everybody is armed with the right information to make your own personal choice. So before I go into my personal journey with psychedelic medicines, I want to paint you a picture as to why these experiences are so transformative. What is actually happening within our brain when we are taking a psychedelic? Well, in order to understand this, let's first go back to when we were children. The first 7 years of our life, our brains are just completely open. We are just taking everything in. We talk about neuroplasticity, and that's the brain's ability to change. Our brains are so plastic during those first 7 years. We are just in a constant state of awe and learning and just really, really open. But of course, we can't stay in that state because we need to grow up and we need to become skilled and we need to become focused. And so when we do that, basically we're building a filtration system in our brain to enable us to focus and become skilled and to build a life. But of course, as we are becoming more and more focused and we're building up these filtration systems in our brain that are happening below our conscious level of awareness, those filtration systems can sometimes be built on unhealthy coping mechanisms. Those filtration systems can be based on fear and unhealthy social conditioning. Not all social conditioning is unhealthy, but some of it can be. And the expectations of others. So as we become more and more focused and more skilled in our life, we have barriers to a lot of what is actually going on. And so, what psychedelics can do is help to remove those barriers whilst you're in the experience. So, it really dampens down your filtration system and lets you see what you've been missing, basically, and where you have been getting in your own way, where you have been filtering out things that perhaps maybe you shouldn't. And it really helps to give you a much bigger picture as to the totality of what is going on. And if there are filtering systems that you think, gosh, that's not been helpful for me, you're so open in that moment. You're basically back to being a child. You're being very, very open. So the brain is very plastic and it allows you to facilitate change in alignment with your conscious goals and aspirations. So it really is a fast track to neuroplasticity and making positive change in your life. So this is the magic with psychedelics. It is really beautiful work to do. So let's talk a little bit about my own personal experiences. I just want to share with you my own journey. My psychedelic therapeutic journey began in 2016 with a holotropic breathwork workshop facilitated by none other than Dr. Stanislav Grof, the doctor who created the holotropic breathwork method. And it was basically created by him to enable people to have psychedelic experiences in a legal way without substances. So through breathwork and music, that was an incredibly transformative experience for me. And it really piqued my interest in going deeper and going further. So further along in that same year, I went to Holland and participated in a psilocybin ceremony. And psilocybin is the active ingredient in mushrooms, magic mushrooms as they're known. And that was also a very transformative experience. I was going through a lot of issues at that point in my life, both with my health and just an enormous amount of stress. I wasn't sleeping. And so I had those two experiences and I thought, right, let's make some more changes in my day-to-day life to try and help me get better. And so I started meditating. I quit smoking. And all of those things were really great, but it still wasn't helping. And so finally in 2017, I thought, right, I need to really go for the big guns here. And I had heard of ayahuasca as a therapeutic way of helping people for many years leading up to 2017. But I was quite scared to try it. I had heard all sorts of stories that it was just, really quite frightening and quite overwhelming. And I thought, you know what? I was at a point in my life where I thought everything I'm trying is not working. Maybe this will be the answer. So I ended up having four ceremonies, two in 2017, and then going back again to Holland and doing another two in 2018. And those experiences were incredibly powerful and led to some amazing changes in my life in the years following, which I really do credit to those times. They weren't easy. In fact, they were incredibly difficult. So they're not for the faint of heart, really. But I felt very strongly that this was something that would help. And thankfully it did. And I had a really beautiful therapeutic framework at home, a lovely therapist that was supporting me both before and after my journey. So that was really crucial to my success. And we'll be speaking more about how to have the right support if this is something that you are looking at doing. So let's fast forward to 2024, where we are now. And I've just come back from Portugal, having taken part in a Huachuma ceremony, a 4-day Huachuma ceremony, also known as San Pedro. It's a psychedelic cactus. I had never tried this before. And then the following week, I helped to facilitate a women's only retreat for the Huachuma. I had made very good friends with a lovely lady named Mariaka, who I met at the ayahuasca center that I went to in 2017 and 2018, and we became really good friends. And she asked if I would be interested in going down and trying the Swachuma to then be able to help others. And I thought, you know what? Yes, let's do this. And I had heard that Wachuma was very different to ayahuasca, completely different, much more gentle. But before we get into that, I want to play you a quick little video of me in London. I was gonna, my plan was to have a little bit of a video diary on my journey to Portugal. Um, this is the only video that I recorded while I was away, and I recorded it before I ever got to Portugal. So I had to fly from the Isle of Man to London and spent the night in London before I went to Portugal the next day. So this was a little video that I recorded in my hotel room before I ever got to Portugal. So let's watch that now. So I have made it to London from the Isle of Man, and this is the first part of my journey. I'm going to stay overnight, and then my flight from London to Portugal got canceled, so I had to rebook. So now I am flying to Paris, a couple of hours at Charles de Gaulle Airport, and then on my way to Porto tomorrow. So, a few interesting insights. Today has been very interesting. This morning I woke up and I was kind of feeling it yesterday too. I was feeling very, really quite vulnerable, quite surprisingly sort of almost apprehensive. And funnily enough, not anything to do with I'm not nervous about trying San Pedro Huachuma for the first time. I'm actually really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to getting down there. I think, you know, I've come a long way in my personal life, and I've really created a beautiful life for myself. A life that I always hoped I could have with a beautiful, loving, supportive partner and a beautiful place to live and an amazing, meaningful business and endeavors. And so, I've worked really hard on that. And yeah, for the first time this morning, I was quite scared to leave all that. Even though I'm not leaving it, I'm coming back to it. I was really struck with a sort of, as my partner put it this morning, a little bit of separation anxiety, which I have never had before. I've always been fiercely independent and I love traveling by myself. So yeah, so today was really interesting, and I think it gives me a little bit of an insight into, I know many of my clients and I know many people out there deal with these sort of travel anxiety, this sort of separation anxiety. Leaving home can sometimes be a bit daunting, even though this is the first time I've sort of felt that. So everything is meaningful. Everything I know is here to teach me and show me more about myself and more opportunities to learn. So yeah, had some really good cries this morning, and the flight went lovely. And you know what I noticed? I noticed, oh, and my partner gave me a copy of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I'm finally reading after all of these years, never read it. And it's just what I needed. It's just laden with the most beautiful metaphors. Um, and what was I going to say? Oh, yes. One thing I did notice today whilst traveling, I just kept seeing the most beautiful acts of kindness happening, and not necessarily kindness between strangers. There was some of that happening, but just these beautiful families looking after one another, and really, really beautiful, touching moments. I just kept seeing everywhere I looked. I was just seeing the best of humanity. So just really amazing. You don't tend to see that, or I think this is the thing I was going to say. You don't tend to see that when you travel, but I think this is the thing. You're not really tuned into it. You're tuned into, this and that. And so I'm glad to see where my brain is tuned in, because this is what we can do. We can tell what's going on in our subconscious by how we're experiencing the world. And because I just kept noticing all of these beautiful acts of love and just the best of humanity, that tells me that my brain is really tuned into that right now. So this is good. This is good. So my little wobbles this morning. Sometimes you've got to have the strong sort of emotional pull to in one direction to be able to see it in the other direction. So that's how I'm feeling. So I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to keep this going, and yeah, the adventure begins. So yeah, so it was interesting when I finally did arrive in Portugal and saw my friend Marica, and I told her what I had just experienced, and she said, "Ah, I think the medicine was already working." And I think in a way, yes, she was right. I think deep down my inner wisdom knew that change was afoot, and that can feel quite destabilizing sometimes, this fear of the unknown, especially because I'm in a point now in my life where I feel like I am on track. I was not feeling a deep call to do this work like I had been, 5, 6 years ago. But I also knew that there's always work to be done, and there's always deeper layers to get to know ourselves. And my goodness, that's exactly what happened. It was such a beautiful time. It was challenging. I'm not gonna lie. There were many aspects that were challenging, which I won't go into. I'm dealing with some certain skeletal issues with my chronic illness. I'm dealing with some pain. So that had nothing to do with this experience, but traveling whilst my body was in pain did make the experience difficult. It wasn't the plant medicine that made it difficult, but the actual traveling was quite difficult. But the experience was beautiful. It was profound. I didn't learn anything very new, but what I did get was a much deeper, more profound understanding of so many things in my life and so many things that I espouse to my clients. I knew things on a much, much deeper level. So it's much more gentle than ayahuasca. That is definitely a true statement to make. And it was really beautiful the following week to help my friend Mariah facilitate this women's only retreat. It was so beautiful. And part of what I did was I did some yoga nidras at the very beginning of the 4 day ceremony. And then at the very end, kind of bookending the experience, which can be quite helpful for more deeply embedding learnings. Anytime you bookend something like that, it's very effective at helping the learning process. And I also did a guided meditation the morning of the second day of drinking for the ladies' retreat, and just being there and being a safe presence. This lovely retreat center in Portugal called the Lighthouse Retreat. It's really beautiful work that they do there, and they very specifically say they are not guides, they are not shamans, they are space holders, holding a very safe, supportive space for people to do their own work. And the whole time when I was a participant, I felt so safe and so looked after and so cared for. And when you have that environment, that's when really deep, beautiful work can be done. So Aisha and Marika at the Lighthouse are just such beautiful, beautiful space holders. And Chuma the dog, one of the unofficial space holders there, he's a big yellow lab. Oh my God, what a gorgeous animal. So yeah, just really, really beautiful. Just an absolutely transformative experience. I'm so glad I went, and I will definitely be going back. I think this might be my favorite psychedelic plant medicine so far because it is so gentle and it is really accessing the inner wisdom that's already there inside each and every one of us. So, really beautiful work. So, without further ado, I think it's time to get down to business and cultivate the witness. So, cultivating the witness is a beautiful term for being present, being mindful. And this includes meditation, yoga nidra, and also hypnosis. So, what I'm going to do for you all today is I am going to do a guided meditation. And this is based on the meditation that I did at the women's only retreat. And it's adjusted slightly for our use here today. So, very quickly, if anybody is currently driving or operating heavy machinery right now, please make sure to pause the recording and come back to it when you can come into stillness. So, if everybody could just begin by finding a comfortable position and just adjust your body in any way. You can be sitting or lying down, but just make sure that you are feeling fully supported. And adjust your body in any way that it needs at this moment. As you come into stillness, creating space for the journey ahead. Closing your eyes gently and taking a nice deep breath in through your nose. And let it out through your mouth. And I invite you to take a moment to notice how you feel here now at the beginning of this practice. And begin to allow yourself to settle in. And as you focus on your breathing now, allowing your body to relax deeper and deeper, allowing your whole body to empty of tension. The whole body is just draining of tension with each breath. And feel the ground beneath you. supporting your body. Good, that's right. And here we are, just taking a moment to arrive. We're not trying to get anywhere, not trying to change anything. We're just here, together, in this sacred space. And notice the simple act of breathing, how it's always been with you. It's a reminder, isn't it? It's a reminder of that divine presence within. That you are not just in the world, but that the world is within you. And as we enter this sacred space of meditation, just take a moment to honor the connection with yourself. And allow this connection to guide you towards clarity, deeper self-discovery, and communion with the natural world. Breathe in the sacred essence of your being. And breathe out any remaining tension or doubt. Now, just imagine, only imagine now, roots extending from the base of your spine and the soles of your feet, growing down deep into the earth, anchoring you to the earth. These roots connect you to Pachamama, the Earth Mother, a source of life, energy, and wisdom. Feel the solid strength of the earth supporting you, holding you with love and nurturing. You are safe. You are protected. Now, let your awareness gently shift to the ancient wisdom of humanity, encoded deep within you. The energy, the steady, loving presence is here to hold space for your growth. Like a tree that has witnessed centuries pass, this wisdom sees you in all your beauty and complexity. And as you continue to relax deeply, just allow yourself to let go of any expectations or judgments you may have about this meditation. Just simply be present in this moment. And with your next inhale, Visualize yourself walking along a sacred path in nature. And as you exhale, notice the soft earth beneath your feet. And feel the crisp air on your skin. And the warm rays of the sun on your face. As you walk deeper into the landscape, everything around you feels more alive. The trees seem to breathe with you. The wind carries whispers of ancient knowledge. And the river hums a melody of renewal. And notice how the natural world mirrors your inner world. There are moments of stillness, moments of flow, and moments of change, all existing in harmony. And as you walk, a powerful feeling of connection grows within you to the land, to the plants, to the animals, to your brothers and sisters around the world, sharing in this moment, and to the cosmic web of life itself. Let the pulse of this sacred place bring you closer to yourself. And feel the stability of the ancient wisdom and the nourishment flowing from the earth into your being. And you now imagine arriving at a clearing in this forest. And in the center, you see a beautiful and ancient tree. Its roots are deep, and its branches extend to the heavens. As you approach the tree, place your hands on its bark and feel the wisdom it holds. Years of growth, transformation, and stillness. This tree has weathered many storms, just as you have. And here it stands, tall and resilient, ever growing, ever evolving. As you take a deep breath in, ask yourself inside, who am I beneath the layers? Who am I at my core? And as you exhale, allow the answer to gently arise without force. Wisdom is revealed not through pushing, but through gentle unfolding, like the petals of a flower opening to the sun. Breathe into this discovery. Allow the essence of who you are to come forward. And imagine the tree's branches reaching towards the sky, touching the heavens. You are part of this cosmic dance, dear ones. Breathe in the essence of this majestic tree. The rustling of the leaves, the scent of the bark, the timeless presence. Repeating silently inside, I am grounded like the roots. I am expansive like the branches. I am present like the leaves. And in this space of purity and connection, take a moment to call upon your inner wisdom and feel it as a presence by your side, wise and compassionate. And speaking silently inside, ask your inner wisdom for guidance. What do I need to understand about my journey? What wisdom do you have for me in this moment of self-discovery? And just stay open and receptive. The guidance may come as a word, a feeling, or a knowing deep within. Just trust whatever arises. And just take a few moments to sit with this guidance. Let it settle into your heart and into your bones. Bringing your awareness back now to your breath. The gentle rise and fall of the belly. As you focus your attention on your breathing, your already happening breath, without changing or altering in any way, can you now imagine breathing in through the mind's eye center? And as you exhale, allow your breath to travel down and exit out through your heart space. Inhaling in through the center of the forehead, your mind's eye center. And feeling that breath traveling down, warming up your heart space as you allow your breath to be released from your heart center. Continuing now with this at your own pace and speed. Breathing in through the mind's eye center and out through your heart space. Good, that's right. And feel free to leave this breathing visualization now and just come back to your natural breath. Taking time to remember who you are. You are a watcher. You watch the universe unfold. As you take time to cultivate the witness. Remember, dear friends, you are both the seeker and the sought. You are both the dreamer and the dream. And you are the creator and the created. Because while wandering down the path of wonder, you briefly escape the world of separation and enter the world of unity. As we prepare to come back from this journey, place your hands over your heart, feeling the warmth of your hands, the beating of your heart, a reminder of your connection to the sacred life force within you and around you. In this moment, feel the gratitude for the wisdom of the ages within you, for your brothers and sisters around the world, and for yourself. You have walked through the sacred landscape of your soul and of nature's wisdom. You are ever evolving, moment by moment, and this journey is a testament to your courage and commitment to growth. And whenever you're ready, and not a moment before, you can feel free to open your eyes gently and come back into the room. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me here on this solo edition of Tenacious Be. I will leave you all with some photographs of my journey to Portugal, and you'll be able to see just the beautiful space that is the lighthouse. What a beautiful place. Oh my gosh. Every type of fruit tree you can imagine. Limes, lemons, oranges, pears, apples, pomegranates, figs, and just beautiful olive trees. It was a very, very special place. I'm so glad that I went. And I'll see you all on our next episode coming up in just a few short weeks with Dr. Reverend Laura Petrias. Bye.
If I could sing or play an instrument for you, I would sing and play an instrument for you. If I could dance for you, I would dance for you. If I could paint for you, I would paint for you. But my thing is words. But the problem about words is that you may listen to them.
And that would be a mistake.